You've had so much success over the last 3 years that it almost requires that we start by talking about it. But if we were to mention all of the gold records, the platinum, the television appearances, the magazine covers, the success that you've had, we wouldn't have time for the interview. But
well, I don't know about that. No, I mean, I really have been blessed this year. This whole year has been kind of a really hard year on me as a person and just career-wise. It's a great thing when a lot of things happen and you're always busy, but it's really difficult too because it's been a year of just constantly going, never stopping. I haven't had time to stop and take a deep breath and look at everything. It's just been kind of like, oh, by the way, I did this and I'm going to do that, and oh yeah, I've got to do this too. It's been a year of that, but which is a good thing, I think, because I think when you stop and you look at everything, and I think that's where people kind of get messed up and they start going, wow, I'm really wonderful, and I mean, really think about it. How far is that going to get you in life? I mean, my mom always told me, all this stuff is important to you, but really, it's not going to get you into heaven any quicker, and it's not going to give you any longer of a life than anybody else. But it's just kind of a thing of I've been really blessed.
Is it hard to walk in all the different worlds that you walk in? The Latin market, the contemporary Christian market, the
yes, I do have a split personality.
You have so many places that you're in. Is it hard sometimes to remember which one is Jackie?
Yeah, it is. They both are they're different ministries for me. The Christian music is a ministry in the way of inspiring, people, Christians, to lead a closer walk with God. I'm not Little Miss Perfect. I've never said I was, and I never try to act like I am. But, I try to constantly, as a Christian, lead a closer walk with God and try to be pleasing. And that's very difficult, you know what I mean? You just try and lead a pleasing walk for God. And in the Spanish market, it's been a year of, I felt like it's caused me to get closer in my walk with God than I ever had been, because I was suddenly put in situations where they were very compromising. I was going, okay, wow, this girl just came off stage wearing absolutely nothing, and this guy's gonna come after me, and he's gonna, dance in a way that probably isn't too edifying to the world. And, and I'm gonna be right in the middle of it all. And I'm the only Christian they'll ever see in their lifetime. And I have to take my few minutes, my 3 songs, and hopefully a seed will be planted, and they will, come to wonder, why is this girl different? Or what makes this artist, what makes me cry during her songs?
Gotta ask you about the first single that has been released to radio, Imagine Me Without You. What's the song about? We're already enjoying it, but that's what it's about.
I think every Christian song is always kind of written with in mind about what Jesus is in our life, how wonderful he makes our life and how amazing our life is with him. And I thought this song was amazing when I heard it, because it reflects on who we are without Jesus and how it's impossible to think of living that life.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was really blessed to be raised in a Christian home. But in some ways, when you're raised in a Christian home, the only reason you go to church is because, you get drugged by your mom.
Right.
I mean, it's true. It's honest.
Some of us start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sometimes the way God has to put you into that place, and the way he calls you into his kingdom. And so I never lived a life in the dark. I've always lived my life within the light. And it's a great thing, but when you've never known what it's like to be in the dark, it's kind of like you can't appreciate the light as well. And I think this past year I've learned to appreciate, the light and how wonderful my life is, and how I could never imagine turning my back on the one who gives me the breath to breathe every day, every minute. And that's what the song was all about and reflects.
That's the first single from the new CD from Jaci Velasquez, Imagine Me Without You.
I heard that you're going to be in People magazine this fall talking a little bit about a ministry that's been close to your heart ever since you started, and that's the ministry of abstinence.
Right.
You recorded a song called I Promise. And
on my first record, yeah. It was a song I co-wrote with a guy.
Right,
yeah.
It was the first time you'd written music. But talk about how that's how you speak to people, particularly in the Latin market, about this important issue.
I think the biggest ministry I've had within the Latin market has been the sexual abstinence thing, because it is not a popular thing. It's not the cool thing, quote unquote cool thing to do. Sex is constantly thrown at you. Television, music, TV, I already said that, movies, everything. It's always there. Mm-hmm. And because it's what sells,
But you're going to have your message of abstinence in a place like People magazine, which
right,
read
right.
across the country. People won't even have really considered abstinence before. What do you tell those people?
For me, I just tell them, when you think about the romance factor, and then what it also says in First Thessalonians, about fleeing from sexual immorality. For me, I think of the romance part of it and how much I believe that God has someone set aside for me that's going to be amazing, and how much I don't want to give a piece of myself to somebody who doesn't deserve it. How much I just want to give myself to that one person and have enough to give to them. And of course, there are always factors that come into it. Having a baby before you get married, and how, wow, that kind of messes up all your dreams in some ways for some people. And then there's a thing of, you could end up with a sexually transmitted disease and die. And then there's just the simple thing of, because that's what we got intended from the very, very beginning, and how we tend to forget that.
I got to ask you about the last song on the album, because it's so poignant and touching, and it talks about how Jesus is just a prayer away.
Whenever we think about God, we always think of him as, as this being, this mystery that will never be revealed until we get to heaven, and that's probably true in some instances. Sure. It's true. He is a mystery that won't be revealed in some ways until we get to heaven. But how he's really just a prayer away. All you have to do is, it's kind of the modern day on my knees. He's just a prayer away. All you have to do is call out his name, and he's right there before you.
He has just as much of himself to give to us as we want.
Oh, there's so much of him. We haven't even tapped into a millimeter of what it is, and we just have to constantly be wanting and have the desire to fulfill our relationship with him. That's really what it is.
You know what? This album is full of devotion to Christ and love songs, and one of them on here that really just is so impacting is the song "Adore."
I love that
you love
song.
That song? Thanks for recording it.
No. Well, it was also written by Chris Eaton and Brent Bourgeois.
Really?
Yeah. It was. When they brought me this song, I was like, that was like the first song we ever started tracking for the record, and I was like, okay, I'll get this song. And it is what it is. It's a love song. It's seriously just a praise and worship song to how much we adore Jesus Christ.
Adore, from the new CD Crystal Clear, from Jaci Velasquez.
So when you went in to record Crystal Clear, the third album,
right,
you reunited again with producer Mark Heimerman.
Mark Heimerman, who's amazing.
And with Rudy Perez,
who did my Latin record.
Right, and he's also produced people like Julio Iglesias, so he is world-renowned.
Oh, he's
really
huge. He's produced Julio Iglesias, Luis Miguel, Cristian Castro, Olga Tañón, just tons of people. He's amazing. He's quite the genius, quite the golden boy in the Latin market. And then, of course, we all know Mark Heimerman is the golden boy within the Christian market, and probably other markets we just don't know about. They're really amazing. They never worked together officially. It was always, Mark had his songs and Rudy had his songs, but they meshed well. I don't know how. It was just a God thing, because they just meshed.
Right. The album meshes together all the different songs, the Latin
and different styles, right. But what's funny is the Latin styles all came from Mark.
Really?
The Latin influence kind of came from Mark, and then the pop big ballads came from Rudy. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, well, let's talk about one of those songs. And you can tell me if this is Mark or if this is Rudy. But I think you're talking about Mark here with You Don't Miss a Thing.
You Don't Miss a Thing. That's Mark's song.
Right.
Actually, that song was written by a couple guys in my band. And Mark, yeah. They wrote that song for me. It was an interesting way of viewing how God is and how he is so close to us in our lives. You know, we think we'll just walk through life and maybe if I do this, he won't see because it's really not that important. Or, you know, everything from your lying to just, you know, life, real life. And how he doesn't miss a smile. He doesn't miss, you know, a good, a bad thing in your life. He's always there, constant. He's the only constant thing we have here with us. Mm-hmm. And that's what that song reflects.
We cannot have this interview without talking about your Latin Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocalist. This is going to be on
What is that? I'm going, what in the world is that?
This is going to be televised, right, nationally
on
CBS in September.
Of course, it's such an honor to be nominated, but it would be really cool if I won that. It's really an honor because it's the first ever that they've ever had a Latin Grammy Awards. And I think people were kind of weird about them separating the two, like it was like there was a difference between the two kind of Grammys. Or, I think it's really an amazing thing because they kept the Latin Grammys the Latin Grammy Awards within the normal Grammys, but then they also have the Latin Grammys to set aside for a lot of music that's untouched because there's so many categories in the Grammy Awards. They have Best Female Salsa Performance, Best Male Salsa Performance, Best, you know, Cumbia, Best Regional Mexican. You know, it's everything. And they pick out the best of all those different categories, and I got to be nominated for Best Pop Female Performer of the Year. So it's quite a surprise and exciting.
What is it you want after all this success? Are there new mountains to climb? Is it a daily
like musically or personally?
Will? I don't know. What is it that drives you? I know in what we do with Soul2Soul, I have things I hope will happen. I have things I work for that I think God said, this is the way I want you to go. But every day is an adventure. What is it like for you?
For me, you know what? Personally, I just want to be a good person. I want to grow up. I still haven't grown up yet. I just want to grow up. Hopefully I'll do that. I mean, when I say grow up, I mean like, you know, as a person, spiritually, and there are so many things I need to learn that I haven't learned yet. And for me, I really want to succeed within the Latin market because of the fact that I believe it's my mission field. I believe that's where my mission field is because I'm able to reach people that have no clue who Jesus Christ is. And that's really my heart within that market, that people would just believe and just be able to feel the presence of God whenever they come to a show and wonder what it's all about and search and find.
Jaci Velasquez and the title cut from her new CD, Crystal Clear.
Let's talk about your headlining tour that's coming this fall.
I know!
66 cities all across the United States.
And special guest plus one, a bunch of cute boys. No, they're amazing, 5 great, good guys. I keep calling them kids. They're the same age as me. But I guess because they just started, I feel like everyone's, you know, a kid right now. And they're amazing. They're just 5 great guys that were Assembly of God, raised boys like me. Boys, I'm a girl though.
Man.
You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Guys, and we're raised Assembly of God and good people. It's going to be a great tour, 66 cities.
And this is going to be like a big tour, lots of trucks, scenery,
This-
lighting,
yeah,
sound.
this is-
the big thing.
Massive. It's a big, huge tour. It's like, you know, 3 buses, 2 trucks. We're talking like the whole kit, the boodle.
People are really going to see a show, aren't they?
People are going to see quite the show this fall. It's going to be a great tour. It's quite a family because we're all kind of the same age and we all kind of hang out apart from the whole music thing. We all kind of hang out. And so it's just going to be a great time. Of course, my band is out with me, which I love those guys. They make me so happy. And a lot of extra people. So it's going to be a good time.